My entitled aunt tried to steal my inheritance. My aunt has always had a greedy streak ever since I was a kid. She is the type of person that will yell at a store employee because something that was advertised isn't in stock or not at that particular store or not on sale and has been banned from entering multiple stores. When my grandmother was on her deathbed, Mana talked her way into getting my grandmother to sign her on as an executor of the will and ended up taking everything and anything that had the most value. My uncle was my best friend. I always looked up to him as a kid. He was a truck driver, so he would be gone for a long time, and I remember one summer he and took me with him on the road. But sadly my uncle had cancer, and while he was in the hospital, Myrna tried to get him to assign her as an executor of his will. But since he was quick to pick up on what happened when my grandmother passed away, he hired a professional estate lawyer that would take care of everything. If you can imagine, my aunt was not very happy and was quick to throw out a sob story of how offended she was that her brother couldn't entrust her with an important task. This went on for 2 weeks. Even on his last day in hospice, she still brought it up and was asked to leave by nurses. He passed away peacefully in 2011. Now I didn't know it at the time, but I quickly found out why my aunt was. So we were all asked to gather at my mom's home where the estate lawyer came to tell us who was getting what. Finally, my time came on the list, and I was surprised to have anything willed to me. What did my uncle will? To me, it was his rig and car. Of course, my uncle's rig is a 2008 Lone Star International, which was fully loaded. His car is a 1966 Shell SS. My first thought was, what in the hell am I going to do with a big rig? My aunt's first thought, well, she didn't have her first thought. She just screamed and cussed, told the lawyer, saying that I was too sick to have those things and didn't deserve them because I was his nephew and not his sister. The lawyer asked her to sit down and he would get to her. When my aunt sat down, she looked at me and said, "You're giving me the title to both of those." To which I laughed and said, "In your dreams, maybe." The lawyer kept going down the list, and because my uncle was a legend, he put my aunt at the bottom of the list and said, to quote to my sister, "I am leaving her my luckiest, most important dollar because all present at this meeting will know she needs it most," and then was handed the dirtiest looking Canadian $1 coin, which was sealed in a block of acrylic. Myself, my dad, and my other uncles nearly would ourselves laughing. My aunt, however, didn't find it that funny and instead went into another tirade on how this was unfair and saying she didn't have anything to hold on. That was his. The day passed and then the nightmare began. My aunt would call over and over and over asking about the truck, wanting to buy the car if I was going to sell the truck, if I was going to sell the car, all to which I said no. Things got worse when my aunt started saying that she wanted her car and she had someone that wanted to buy our truck. At this point, I got extremely irritated and said, "It's not your car. It's my car, and my car is staying with me, and it's not our truck. It's my truck, and no one is buying it." A week later, I woke up and heard something, so I went to investigate, and there was a tow truck in the driveway. I quickly told the tow truck driver, who was a friend of my aunt, that if he so much as put a hand on that Chevy, I would have him arrested for trespassing and grand theft, and then proceeded to call the police. Cops showed up, and I told the police officer my side of the story. Then he went to my aunt, and the conversation went like this: "Cop, ma'am, can you tell me, is this your car?" "And yes, it is, he just won't give it to me." "Cop, ma'am, do you have the title of the vehicle?" "And no, I do not. He won't give that to me." "Cop, well, ma'am, I looked at the registration and title of the vehicle, and he is listed as the owner of the vehicle. That vehicle is legally not yours."